Welcome to MicroStrategy World 23. I am so excited today to roll out MicroStrategy ONE. I told my family I was going to be here talking in front of a few thousand of our best friends, and they said one thing. They said, "Can you take a selfie?" I said, "I don't know if it's totally appropriate, but let's do it." Wave, make it look like you're having a great time. All right, thanks for being part of that. Who here was at MicroStrategy World 2020? Raise your hand. Awesome. I like the yelps, the whoops, too. Today I'm going to talk about MicroStrategy ONE, the present of MicroStrategy. And then later on, my favorite part, we're going to talk about the future of MicroStrategy. But before I go through the present and the future, I think it's good to talk a little bit about the past and the history of MicroStrategy. We're founded in 1989 by our executive chairman, Michael Saylor, sitting out here somewhere in the front row. Thank you, Michael. With three things in mind. I didn't fact check these three things with Mike, so hopefully I got them right. One was a vision of intelligence everywhere. Two was a spirit of innovation. And three was a belief that it's important to be fiercely independent. And I would say today, 34 years later, we are more innovative than we've ever been. We're more independent than we've ever been. And absolutely, we still believe in this vision of intelligence everywhere. And so let me go back and talk, for those who don't know MicroStrategy that well, a little bit about our history. In 1992, 3 years after our founding, we were the first OLAP-based platform sitting on top of relational databases. Anyone who knows about OLAP and relational databases, that is the foundation of BI. We invented business intelligence and analytics as you know it today. In 1999, 24 years ago, we were the first ever analytics platform on the web. That's how most of you still consume your analytics today, and we were the first. Those who are not consuming analytics on the web, probably do it on your mobile phones. In 2008, we were the first ever analytics platform available for mobile. And in fact, in 2010, we're the first ever enterprise application made for the iPad. So those of you who checked in today on an iPad, or those of you who have been to your local supermarket, your local store, and have paid for something with an iPad, those are enterprise applications. We were the first ever enterprise application available for the iPad. In 2011, we were one of the first analytics platforms developed for the cloud. And you'll hear over the course of today and tomorrow, 12 years later, how we are still the leader in BI in the cloud. The only one to provide all of the rich cloud features, microservices, container-based, multi-cloud, SaaS native. We are still the best in the cloud. In 2019, you'll hear Jose Nosadal talk about it today. You'll also hear from one of our customers how they are using hyperintelligence, zero-click analytics, answers finding you before you even know you needed them. Hyperintelligence, I believe, 10 years from now, will be as ubiquitous in the analytics world as mobile analytics and web-based analytics and cloud-based analytics. You'll hear about that. In 2020, we took a little bit of a pivot, and we were the first ever publicly traded company to declare Bitcoin as our primary treasury reserve asset. And a lot of folks ask, what does that have to do with BI? You'll hear a little bit more in our futures. And over the course of tomorrow, I encourage you all to join us for Bitcoin for Corporations. And on Thursday, truly revolutionary, the first ever of its kind Lightning for Corporations event. You'll hear about what we're doing in the Bitcoin space and how that may change the world and continue to build on this view of intelligence anywhere, innovation. And if there's anything that's fiercely independent, it's what we did in the Bitcoin world. And today, 2023, we're rolling out MicroStrategy ONE. And we believe this is the foundation for the next set of innovations in MicroStrategy. And a little bit later today, you'll hear about what we're doing in insights, and you'll hear a lot about what we're doing in the space of artificial intelligence. Our objective is to be the true innovator when it comes to business intelligence and artificial intelligence. So let me tell you what MicroStrategy ONE is. I'll describe it at a high level. You'll hear over the course of the next hour and a half details about the platform we've built that we call MicroStrategy ONE. 8 years ago, I joined the company in 2015, and we were in the midst of a complete replatforming of MicroStrategy. 2.7 million engineering hours later, and 8 years later, we completed that mission of rebuilding MicroStrategy from the bottom up. That includes the completion of Workstation to replace Developer, Library to replace Web, Dossier to replace Documents, HyperIntelligence in Cloud. And that platform, what we have completely rebuilt, many of you are using today, that's what MicroStrategy ONE is. The one platform that not only is modern and in the cloud, but I would argue, and you'll hear today, it is the one platform that will satisfy all analytics use cases in an enterprise. And why is that important? We've heard from thousands of customers, right, and thousands of prospects that what you face today is an issue of tool proliferation, misuse and misunderstanding of data, security, scalability, slowing you down from being able to take your most precious asset, your data, and unleash it and create competitive advantage. And so what you need, and what we believe is needed for large enterprises and organizations, is one platform for all analytics use cases. We've categorized these use cases across 4 pieces. The first is self-service analytics. And I guess a lot of you don't think of MicroStrategy first when you think about self-service analytics, but we are the best platform for truly governed, secure, scalable self-service analytics. And people are like, well, do I want governed, secure, scalable? Absolutely, because it's very easy to go create an ad hoc analysis, right? It's very easy to create a beautiful visualization. But the next step really is, okay, where'd you get your data from? How do you share that with 100 people? How do you scale it to 10,000 people, performing in less than 10 seconds, less than 1 second, across the web, across mobile devices, through HyperIntelligence, right? Like, it's very easy to create self-service analytics, ad hoc analytics in a couple minutes. It's not beautiful, it's not easy to use, right? But you need a data model. And so when you look at that, side by side, MicroStrategy versus the competition, we're better, we're faster, we're stronger in the space of self-service analytics. But of course, that's not all we do. Business reporting. Your finance organization has an operational report that 10,000 people look at every single morning. Your stores, your 2,000 stores roll out to 10,000 people, bursting a report every 6 a.m. every morning. You know it has to work. MicroStrategy has been doing that for 30 years, and we're the best in this space. You know it. You're using us for that. Advanced applications. You're a pharmaceutical company with 25,000 salespeople around the world, and you need to build a mobile application that allows them to be prepared with a 360-degree view of their customer when they walk into a doctor's office. What's the customer buying? Where are the margins? What should I sell them next? And how do I push a button and transaction, services, launches, is able to place an order, right? You're a store, and in your store, you have a store manager who needs to look at all the inventory levels at the end of every single day, again, on a mobile app, on their iPhone, in fact, and have a recommendation on what is the inventory levels they need for the next day, what should they order, they press a button. These are advanced applications. We've been doing this for 20 years. And I know a lot of you, I see nodding heads. This is what MicroStrategy is known for. The last category, embedded analytics. Right? I've been meeting with chief data officers, chief information officers, CEOs, business unit heads, and their biggest question is, I've got all this data. It's nice that I have your reporting internally. I'm running my organization using it, but I want to do something more with it. I want to monetize it. I want to be able to share it with my partners and my vendors. I want to be able to sell it to my customers. I want my data to go from being a cost center to being a profit center. We've been doing this for over 30 years. We've been doing this with Visa. We've been doing this with Nielsen, J.D. Power, dunnhumby. This is something we've been doing for 30 years, and now our customers all want to be able to do this. Truly able to embed your analytics into your organization and outside your organization. Of course, to be able to do this, you need to be open. You need to be multi-cloud, you might argue. You have to be secure, you have to be scalable, you have to be performant. So, MicroStrategy ONE is the only platform in the world that can do all of these things. And our best customers, some of you out there, are doing all these things with MicroStrategy. Sure, you could go with 4 different BI tools to these 4 different things, 8, 12, some enterprises we've seen, but that'll just slow you down, right? That's not gonna, you're gonna have to train everybody on your 12 different tools. You could go down to 4, you could go down to 2, right? We can coexist with a lot of visualization tools, but our argument is you should have one BI application that does it all. So a little bit more about what MicroStrategy ONE is. I said all analytics use cases. You look on the right-hand side. On the bottom left-hand side, using our modern product suite. A lot of our customers are on the latest version of MicroStrategy, but they're not using Dossier, Library. You'll see the use of freeform canvas today on Dossier, which is really a big step function change in the capabilities of Dossier, getting it to work a lot like our previous documents did. You'll see some amazing innovations in Library and Hyper, and the Workstation and Cloud. On the upper left-hand side here, what you see is truly cloud-powered. We'll talk about multi-cloud a lot today, but the fact that you can deploy one day on AWS, right? The number of folks I meet that said, hey, you know, I'm an AWS-only shop. I believe their technology is superior in the cloud, and they were the really first hyperscaler. Then a year later, they're like, hey, you know what? I just realized Amazon's my competitor. I don't want to give them all my money. I need to move to Google. Google is neutral, so I'm going to work with them. Then a year later, I meet with them, and they're like, you know what? My CEO just met with Satya Nadella, and he said I'm the most important customer in the world. And so we signed a $2 billion agreement with Microsoft. And as part of that, I need to be using Azure now. And then we meet with them, and we say, yes, you can do all of those things with MicroStrategy, 1 year to the next year to the next year. You're not going to get locked in. In fact, we'll talk about some of our partnerships with Google and with Azure and with AWS over the course of today and a little bit later today, too. So you have to be multi-cloud if you want to be running a truly flexible enterprise. Of course, native SaaS, managed services, which means that you can actually, if you want, deploy internally on your own hardware, container-based microservices, so it looks like the cloud. And we do that in our technology organization. We run both AWS, Azure, we'll be running Google, but we also run on Dell Tanzu hardware, right? So truly multi-cloud with our managed services capability. And of course, you can't forget, when you're in the cloud, we're keeping you on the latest version of MicroStrategy. So you get all these features, and you also get security patches very quickly. And then finally, open. I talked about this fierce independence. And the spirit of independence, we're not part of any large software company, hyperscaler. We are our own. I believe is important in the world of business intelligence and important in the world of analytics. I believe a lot of you out there share that view of independence. It means we can connect to unlimited data sources. We work as well with Snowflake as we do with Azure Synapse, as we do with AWS Redshift, as we do with Databricks, partners with all of them, right? We're built on an architecture of RESTful APIs, which means that all of our platform can be called via code. We're Python enabled, easy to integrate with, when we talked about cloud portability. That's MicroStrategy ONE. So the question you might want to ask yourselves over the course of the next few days, are you using MicroStrategy? Are you covering all analytics use cases? Self-service analytics, you're probably doing. Business reporting, of course. Are you building advanced analytic applications? Are you embedding your analytics into external use cases? If not, why not? That's a question I'd ask yourself. Are you using the modern version of MicroStrategy? Dossier, library, hyper, workstation, cloud. If not, why not? Are you cloud-powered? Are you prepared for the day where your CEO comes in and says that, hey, we need to move to a different hyperscaler, and I want it done in 2 weeks? If not, why not? I would guess most of you out there who are using hyperscalers are already in that type of a situation. And are you independent? Is your platform open, or are you part of a single stack? These are all questions I would ask yourself and explore over the course of the next days. And then, of course, the last question is, of course you need to be. Have you selected MicroStrategy as the one platform to do it all? And yes, I have very commercial interest in you selecting us, but I also do believe it is the best platform. And it's just not us that believes that. You'll hear from customers today. We hear, this is, by the way, the most beautiful hotel I've ever been to for MicroStrategy World, and one of the most beautiful resort hotels and conference centers in all of Orlando. It's the Hilton Signia, and it's the Waldorf Astoria Bonnet Creek. And we're proud to be here because we're here with one of our partners, Hilton, who is on their journey to MicroStrategy ONE and has fully embraced this concept. And there are a lot of reasons I love Hilton, the company, the brand. I love their hotels. But their culture is very similar to our culture. Innovative, right? Believe in intelligence everywhere, and truly independent. So with that, you'll hear from me more later today. I want to thank you all, and I want to introduce one of our great customers and our partners, Hilton.